Good evening. Hello, everybody. Happy Poetry Day. My name is Walsh Donnelly. I'm coming to you live from my kitchen here in Castlebar in County Mayo. It's been a brilliant day. Really enjoyed the Corrigan. I was a big fan of the Beautiful South back in the day. And my brother actually named his eldest daughter after Brina. So there you go. So anyway, thanks to Roz and Simon for having me back again on the holding cell. It's brilliant to be able to read on Poetry Day Ireland. It's kind of that extra bit of a thrill for me. And I know you're probably all really poemed out, going to stay on too long, just about 10 minutes or so. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to read a couple of poems from my chapbook, The Woman with an Owl Tattoo. Reading some that I don't normally read, just to kind of mix it up a bit. The first one I'm going to read is called Tawny Owl, and it's one of the earlier poems in the book, and it's a reflection on the loneliness I experienced at the end of my marriage and the yearning I had for softness at the time in my life. So I'm using the image of an owl as to kind of, something that I was looking for softness or consolation, I suppose, at the time. Tawny Owl. Each night after my husband fell asleep, full, I'd gaze from the bedroom window at the tawny owl perched on the barn's roof. Moving a hand up my thigh, I'd dream of laying my head on her feathered mound. Moving my other hand down my arched neck, I dream of holding her breast in my palm, her breath moistening my desert skin. Sometimes I opened the window to listen to her melody of toos before husband shoved himself inside me. In daylight, I milked cows, pulled eggs from bottoms of stubborn hens, fed motherless lambs. One November morning, I found my owl, her limp body floating face down in the duck pond. I cawed like an old crow. And the next poem I'm going to read is called Her Hug. And it's about an experience where I fell in love with someone and they didn't feel the same way. I think we probably all have had that experience at some stage in our lives where you fall in love with someone and they don't feel the same way. So this is called Her Hug. Her hug stirs my bull heart in the same way my ex-husbands used to. Her perfume, daisy, coaxes my fetal flower. It pushes upwards towards a follicle in my skin. Her heat unfolds the bud my daisy blooms. Through her lips blows a breeze softer than bog cotton. Pollen dusts my cheek like dry mustard. I let a sliver of white petal touch her forehead, glide towards her mouth. Her face buckles as if slapped by the bumper of a 4x4. I swallow my kiss. It burns my throat. Petals wilt. Retreat. And the third poem I'm going to read is called I Clutch at Love. And I wrote this at a time when I was ending a relationship that I was in. And, sometimes it can be very hard to end a relationship because it's very hard to walk away. And the fear of being on your own can be quite daunting. So I was trying to capture that feeling in a poem, and what came to my mind was the idea of a cow and kind of grabbing onto a cow or holding a cow or clutching a cow, whatever way you want to, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, that's what came to my mind, a cow. So I hope you can follow the poem because it's basically kind of using that metaphor to talk about clutching at the end of a relationship and clutching at love. I clutch at love. I pull her other, suckle hot milk from shriveled teats, grasp the bars of her keratin horns before they gouge my abdomen. I brush my cheek against her hide, cry while she bellows, corral her in the rushy field. I lay myself bare for her host to stomp and mulch me to muck. I grab her hocks before she breaks through briars, bring her to her knees, load her onto a truck. I drive her to the abattoir, watch blood flood my feet. And hi Siobhan, hi Edward. Someone is watching Relief. So I'm going to mix it up a bit now and kind of change the tone a bit because like we need something humorous as well as the dramatic, strong, powerful poems. This one is called Prayers. It was first published in the Blue Nib chapbook 2 years ago, and it was actually released this week. The Poetry Ireland have brought out a new anthology of poems from the poets that were involved in the Poetry Ireland introduction series last year. I was one of them, very, very privileged to be one of them, chosen by Martina Evans. So that anthology is out now. It's called Incredible Things Do Happen, and it's free to download on Amazon. So get your copy now if you haven't, because there's really, really good poets on it, apart from myself. Anyway, this poem is in that anthology. And when I was young, growing up, and I would be at Mass, and I'd often be looking around when I should be saying my prayers, and other people wondering what they were praying about. So this is where this poem came out of. It's told in 4 parts. The first part is an 18-year-old boy. The second part is his mother. The third part is his father. And the fourth part is the parish priest. And it's set in the 1980s. You probably kind of figured that out anyway while I'm reading it. So here it is, Prayers After Communion. God, would you make it okay to be gay? Or strike Jack Doyle dumb? Stop him calling me a shortlifter. Would you give me A's in my leaving cert so I can get away from me ma, da, and the squealing bottoms? Would you forgive me if I confess my sins and wrote Father Murphy in the box? I'd say 100 decades of the rosary after. Would you let me join the seminary if I fail the leaving? I'd look good in white vestments. Dear God, please don't let me kill my husband. Stood over the bed last night with the bread knife. I'd have cut his nose off, only for the baby crying. I can't cope with his Guinness snores. Doc says if I take some tablets, I won't be as jittery. Says women get a bit down after having a baby. Down me arse. I love babies. I want another. Only husband won't come near me. Says he'll only go in covered. I'll have to wait till his cousin comes from London at Christmas with a case full of condoms. That's months away. And the killer is, he's great at making babies, knows exactly how to get me going. Oh my God, the wife nearly killed me last night. Worst nightmare I ever had. When I woke up, she was in the bed beside me feeding the baby. And now she wants another one, as if 13 wasn't enough. I'm afraid to go near her in case she gets pregnant again. I have to go to the bathroom to get relief. Oh God, would you take the notion of wanting more kids out of her head? Doc says he'll prescribe the pill on medical grounds if she'd take it. Dear Heavenly Father, would you give a special blessing to the couple in the front row? They look wretched. It must be very difficult for them trying to raise all those children. And would you make sure their eldest book, The Lad with the Tight Jeans, does well in these exams and send them off to Dublin? It's very hard for me to say Mass with him looking at me with his dog in heat eyes and fingers playing piano on his crotch. I have to lock the door of the confessional box when I see him coming for absolution. So there you go. Now to something different again. This is one I wrote last year, and it's a poem I wrote after finishing therapy, and it was looking back on one of the last sessions I had in therapy. And I suppose it's an example of one of those poems. People are always telling us that we should show and don't tell, show and don't tell. So this poem shows exactly how loving and caring my therapist is. And I dedicate this to her. It's called My Therapist and Her Bumblebee. It drones overhead as we remember childhood wounds, talk of adult loss, and all that lurks in the space between. The bee buzzes and burning beach crackles in the stove beside us. Smoke leaks from a chink in the pipe, clouds the room, waters my eyes. The buzz overpowers our words until the bee lands on the windowsill. My therapist takes a tissue from its box, approaches the insect. I'm afraid it will sting. She folds the tissue around the black and amber body as if wrapping a gift, then lifts the parcel, opens the window, and releases the bee. Beechwood smoke follows it into April airs. I'm jealous of its joy in being free. My therapist turns to me with a smile that tells me, this will be the last time. I watch her pull a tissue from its box. There you go. And my last poem of the evening is a poem I wrote in February. I was reflecting on my own spirituality, and I was reflecting on my relationship with God, like whatever you want to call God, the divine, the higher power, your inner source. And I was trying to kind of figure out, like, what's my relationship to this transcendent being. And it was Valentine's weekend, and I was kind of feeling sorry for myself because I'm not in a relationship, so I had no one to buy flowers for, or no one to buy me flowers. So and reflecting on that, and reflecting on my relationship with the divine, and I kind of see my divine. I call God my lover. So so that's where this poem came out of. It's called Crossing the Threshold. At the end of winter grey, spring yellow, summer blue, and autumn orange days, I close the front door, go to my inner room, light a fire, and sit with a lover who doesn't buy flowers or chocolates or write valentines. I breathe in peat smoke, feel heat in my bones, exhale the grey, yellows, blues, and sit with a lover who makes no sound, has no form or scent. In fact, I have no evidence of lovers' existence. I just sit with lovers on noble vastness. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks again to Roz and Simon for having me on. God bless. Stay safe. Bye-bye.